Hello everyone, it's your boy Web here, and in today's tutorials what you are coming to do is we are coming to install Flutter. There is installation of Flutter 2023, and I'll try my best to make it easy for you. So those of us who does not know what Flutter is, I'll try my best to explain it along the way. First, let's launch our browser and download Java JDK. So let me open new tab and search for Java. You need Java JDK. Then you get to the Oracle site here. So those of us using the Windows, you pick the Windows 64 installer, that's the X64 installer. You click on it. Then are we seeing it is now downloading? I already have it installed. I'll not waste my time downloading it. Then we also search for Android Studio. So which will bring us to this site. Then you click on download Android Studio Flamingo. You make sure to read all this and accept the agreement, which the download button will be available for you. So this one too, you will click it and make sure that it is also downloading. So any browser will do. Then I also have this one already downloaded because of my internet connection, so I have to pre-do all these things. Then what else do we need again? You'll be using Visual Studio for the coding, so VS Code download as well. So this one too is nice and easy. So those of us using the Windows, we already have Windows 8, 10 and 11. So all that you have to do is by clicking this button and the installation will proceed. Then we have to also download Flutter SDK itself. So Flutter SDK download. Alright, so if you are using the Windows, you click on the Windows button, which will bring you to this site, this page. Then you make sure to click on Flutter Windows, that's 3.10.stable-z, and make sure to click it, which will also prepare the download for you. But for those of us who do not know Flutter, let's take a little bit time to see if, let's say, we can get a little bit information about Flutter. About Flutter itself. Okay. So I guess this page is very transparent. So we will be using Flutter to build mobile apps, website, desktop application, you name it. Whatever that you really want Flutter to do, I guess big companies that uses Flutter in terms of development. So it's cool to learn Flutter. I guess you can take time and go through all this page to see what you need. But since I'm already here teaching you how you can install and download Flutter, at the end of the day, building these beautiful UIs for yourself and for your company, which will be great and also help you along the way as a developer. So without wasting much time, let's head back to the desktop and deal with the installations. So like I said, I already have everything downloaded. I have my Java installer, I have my Android Studio, I have my Flutter, and I have my VS Code as well. So first, let's deal with the Java first. I've already downloaded and make all the installation as well. So I'll be speeding up a little, but you don't worry. Everything will be cool. So like what they are saying software is already installed on my machine. But I'll take time to go through the Java, the Android Studio. I'll skip certain parts. This is the installation wizard. So what I'll do is I'll click next, leave everything as default, then click next. Yeah, so that's it. The setup is done nice and easy. So what you do is if you left everything as default like mine, what you do is you come to this PC, you make sure to right click at any empty space and select property, which will pop up this window here. Then what you have to do is you will select advanced system settings. Then I guess you leave it here like this. Then we'll come back to this PC. Then you search for the location of where you installed your Java. So mine is at programs files, Java JDK. Then I'm at the bin folder here. So at the top here, I'll make sure to click it, which will highlight it this way for me. So I'll make sure to highlight everything. Then I'll press Ctrl plus C to copy, or I'll right click to copy this file location. Then I'll come back to my environment variable. So you make sure to click on the environment variable. What you have to do is you have to set Java home, which I already have mine set here, but I'll still teach you how you do it. So you make sure to click on new, then you type Java home all in caps underscore home. Then you paste the location here. You make sure to delete to the point where it says JDK-20. Then we'll click on OK. Since I already have it here, I'll not waste my time doing that one. So I'll close it bar. But it is the same thing here. We can click on edit and see what I've done. So then we will come to the path here. We will click on edit. Then we will click on new. Then we'll paste that same location here. But this one, make sure that it ends at the bin. Then I have mine here, so I'll not do it again. I'll make sure to delete it. So mine is gone by. Make sure that it is something like this. Then you click on OK. So here is environment. Here is user variables. Then you come back to the system variables. You make sure to do the same thing. You click on new. Then you set our Java home. So Java underscore home. Then we'll make sure to paste the location here as well. Then what we do is we will click on OK. But since I already have my Java home here, which I can click on edit for you to see, then that means I'm done. Then I'll come back to the path, click on it, click on edit, then click on new, make sure to paste it here, then click on OK. But I already have it, so I'll make sure to cancel it. Then you'll click on OK, OK, and close this window, then close this one as well. So let's leave this one, we'll come back to it. So what we have to do is we have to check if Java is truly installed on our PC. So we click on the start menu, then we search for cmd. Open the command prompt by checking for the Java version. So Java dash version. So if you did everything successfully, you should see something like this. You should see an information like this which will be printed for you, meaning Java is 100% installed on your PC. So let's close the command prompt and let's get back to Android Studio. So Android Studio 2, the setup is also similar. So what we do is we will double click to launch Android Studio. So let's wait for it to launch. Then I already have it installed, so I'm not going to go through the wizard with you. Is it wizard? Yeah, the setup wizard, whatever. With this, I'm going to cancel it. You just click next, 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 and everything will be installed. So right everything has finished installing. Make sure to launch it. They'll ask you to launch it. So when you launch it, this window will pop up for you. And when these windows pop up, what you have to do is you have to make sure to select do not import settings, and then you click OK, which will then bring you back to this page. Then here, this page to what you make sure to select it. You select next. Then here you select the standard settings. Then you go for the next. Then here you have the chance to choose the kind of UI you want. Either you want the dark color or the light. I left mine at the dark color, so I'll click on the next. Then the size of what you are coming to install will be nicely displayed here. Then you click on next. So here is a little bit tricky, but when you get here, please listen. What you have to do is this Android SDK license will be first selected. Then you will select it, then you will accept. Make sure to accept it. Then you come back to Android SDK preview licenses, then you accept that one too. Then Android extra licenses, then you accept that one too. So let's just look like it will be something like this. This one will be selected, then accept. You select this one, then you accept. Then you select this one and you accept. So with this setup, what you have to do is you wait for a few, let's say, hours. It won't be hours, but a few minutes, then the installation will be complete for you. Then what you have to do is when the installation is fully done, you will launch your Android Studio. So let's wait for it to launch. We have one project created, but see deep down here, there will be a button here. I should have take a picture of that button too. But let me see if I can remove this project. Yeah, so you get this more here. Then what you have to do is we'll click on the more action. Then you come back, you make sure to select SDK manager. So which will pop this window for us. So we make sure to be at the SDK platform. Then we will select the following APIs that I've selected. I have Android 12L, 12, 11, 10, 9, 7, and 6. So this API will help us in terms of building the apps. The reason why I've chosen API 6 for the Marshmallow is for those of us who are using a little bit old Android phone. You will be able to have the chance to debug it on our phone. Then we'll make sure to also click on show package details. Then Android SDK, this one is selected. Okay, then we will come for Android SDK platform 32, source for Android 32, then Android SDK 31, source for Android 31. Make sure that all these things are selected in the right order like this. Then after that, you click on apply, which will bring the download wizard and download everything that you need. Then when that one is done, you also come back to the SDK tools. So here too, you do a few installation as well. You can select all these things that I've selected. The emulator will be already selected for you, but if yours have not been selected, make sure to select it. Select all these things. Then this one too, I can click on show details for you to see what were actually selected for me. It's like I left everything default. So then this one too, you click on apply and it will download. But if along the way it stopped downloading, you should try it again, because here the file that you'll be downloading is a little bit heavy. So I guess it will take much time. Then you click on OK, which will bring you back to this window. So for us to test what we have installed, we'll come to new project, then we'll make sure to select empty project, then we'll click on next. You can choose to leave the name like this, but mine, since I already have my project there, I'll make sure to add two to it for the name, and then leave everything like this. Then I'll smash on the finish button. By yours, for the first time, it will make a little bit downloads. Yeah, it will download certain things. But my, since I've already done the installation and those stuff, there will be no downloading. Mine will be straightforward. So let's wait for everything to sync, then we will build our first app. What you have to do is wait till you see that there's nothing here, to avoid our machine running slowly. Because starting playing with these things can let your machine to run slow. And also you can see the loading tool here, so it means we need to wait for a few seconds for all of these things to sink in before we can start doing what we want to do. Let me run the app to see if I'll get any error. So if there's no error, then that means our Android installation is 100% complete. So the emulator is loading. So I'll use this time also to talk a little bit about the emulator. If you're having a powerful machine and you are finding it difficult to launch the emulator, please make sure to check for your PC BIOS. Go to the BIOS, then what you have to do is you have to search for something called virtualization, and you make sure that you have enabled virtualization before you'll be able to use your Android emulator. So if virtualization is not enabled on your PC, you'll not be able to run this app on your emulator. So you should keep that one in mind. So as you can see, we now have our emulator launching. So let's wait for it. You can see the installing. So launching app on this device. So let's wait for it to install. Okay, let me hide this bar for us to get a little bit heavy view on this phone. Let's wait for it to install. The app has successfully installed. So if you are able to see this on your machine, then that means you have successfully installed Android Studio and it is ready to work using Flutter. So since our focus is on Flutter, not Android Studio, not Android, by using Kotlin or Java programming language, we'll be using Flutter. So what we can do is we can now close this project because all that we did here was to check to see if our Android system in general has successfully installed, and yeah, we have it. Let me close this one as well, then I'll come back to this folder once again. Then what we have to do is before we will install Flutter, we need to install Visual Studio Code. That one I don't have it on my machine, so we'll all go through the installation together. This one is fairly simple as well. I don't know why it is keeping so long. This window will be open, then we need to make sure to accept the terms, then we will click on next. You leave everything as default, then we will select next, then we select next. You leave everything as default as well, select next and next. So we wait for it to install. So okay, we can launch it now. Here we now have the chance to choose the theme that we want, either light mode, leave mine in the dark mode. Let's make sure to install certain extension by clicking on the extension tab, by clicking on the extension icon, which will open the search bar for us. Since we are coming to code Flutter, we need to download two things. First, we need to download that. So you search for that, make sure to download this one. So you click on the install. So we wait for it to install before we continue. So this is going to help to make our life very easier along the way. So you search for Flutter as well. Then you make sure to download Flutter. Two is down. This one too has downloaded. So let's take the opportunity to download certain things that will help us code better and code as a pro. Download error lens, this one. And then you search for material icon. This one as well. Then here you make sure to set the theme to material icon. There are more extensions to download, but this one is cool for us right now. And do is we will close the Visual Studio Code. Then we'll get back to our Flutter. First, let's install the Flutter by extracting this. I'll make sure to select the extract here, which will extract Flutter for me. Okay, the extraction of the file has finished. So what you have to do is you come back to here. It's all up to you. Where do you want to save the file? But since I'll be using this file constantly and I don't want to be touching it, I'll bring it to my local disk C here. Then I'll make sure to create a new folder, which I'll call it Flutter SDK underscore SDK. Then I'll open it. So I'll drag and drop this. So let me come back. I have here then my Flutter SDK, then Flutter. Then here to I'll navigate to the bin folder. I'll make sure to select it as well. Then I'll come back here, then I'll select on properties. Make sure to set my environment variable for Flutter. Then I'll come to environment. I'll get to the path. I don't have Flutter there, so I'll make sure to paste this one here. Then click on OK. Come to the system tool as well. Edit, new, Ctrl+V to paste. Then I'll select on OK as well. OK here, then OK there. So we now have the ability to check if Flutter is on our system. But let me close all these things by searching for the command prompt. So you type cmd, then you search for Flutter Doctor, Flutter Doc. So we wait for a few seconds. Yeah. So if you did your Flutter installation correctly, you should be able to see something like this. Doctor is now checking the system to see what do we have available. To have detected Flutter this version, to have detected Windows. Yeah. Detected Android Studio, Visual Studio Code. So it have detected almost all the things that we need to code Flutter. If you see this information on your PC, then that means we now have Flutter in our system. Come back to the Flutter installation, the Flutter Windows installation. Here we did download the SDK. You can also follow this step to do the installation as well. Then what we are searching for is we are looking for the licenses. We need to accept certain licenses. before we can continue. So you make sure to copy this one by clicking on the copy code button. You bring it back into our command prompt, which will run this code. Then you pick Y, then you select enter. You can choose to read all these, but I've already go through all these steps. So you select Y, enter. Y stand for yes, accept, N stand for no. So if you think you don't agree to certain terms, you can pick no. But I do agree to all terms, so I'll select yes. But please don't pick no. Don't pick no if you actually want to work with Flutter. Now it says accepted. So meaning we are now done with the installation of Flutter. So now let's check if we can create a simple Flutter app and run it on our emulator. Back to my Android Studio just to come and launch the emulator. I'll open this one, then I'll power my emulator on. Yeah. I have my emulator. For quick notes, let's create a simple folder here too. Let's create a simple folder. So I'll name it test. You can name it whatever that you want. We are coming to test our Flutter installation by creating a simple Flutter app. So at the top here, what you do is you click on this one, then you delete everything here, then you type CMD. First of all, let me close this command window. Then you type CMD, you pick the enter, which will open the command prompt based on your location. We are creating a Flutter app by using this code, which is Flutter create, then you call it my app, then you pick the enter. So you wait for it to resolve, then boom. All these things need internet connection, so make sure that you have an internet connection. Then it is telling us to cd into my app to run it, so you do cd into my app. So you can click on the tab to complete it for you. Then I'll press on the enter button. So here what I want to do is I want to open the app using Visual Studio Code, so which is as simple as just typing code space period, then enter, which will launch the Visual Studio Code for us. Yeah, you trust it, then you trust the author. I guess we are the author, so you pick the yes. Okay, so this window will open up nicely. We are seeing all these folders because we have the material icon. So if you are not seeing these folders, you are just seeing arrows like these ones, meaning you don't have the material icon theme. I don't want us to get confused. That was the reason why we installed the material icon theme. So we can come back to the main, open this one, then we now have this nice and beautiful test code to see if our Flutter has successfully installed. Along the way, we'll go through all the folder structure here and what each and every single file represents. But with this, since we are working with the installation, we now have our device here. So make sure that the name of your device is selected here. Then you will click on it, you come here to select it, then it will be well placed here. And what you can do is you come to the run, then you will select run without debugging. So let me bring my emulator on to see if everything will run. If everything was done successfully, you will see this nice windows popping up. Sorry, this nice app popping up, this nice app launching, which, like, look at how beautiful it is. This is all about the installation of Flutter. Let's finish this thing off by trying our best to run it on our physical device. So first, this is my actual phone that I'm using. To run the Flutter app on my phone, what I have to do is I have to come to the phone's settings, search for my phone. Hope you have seen my phone here. It depends on the type of phone that you are using. So you need to search for something about your phone. Then you click it, you search for build number, this one here, always having this icon on top. So you search for build number, then you tap it until you see this message which will tell you that yes, you are a developer. Then the moment that you tap it again, then they'll tell you no need, you are already a developer. Then you come back, you search for developer options, developer options. So you will scroll down. I'm using Techno. I'll come to the settings, then yeah, this is my developer options. So depending on your phone, depending on the type of the phone that you are using, each phone has a place that the developer options are being stored. So mine is at the system. So you get to the system, then you open the developer option. Make sure that use developer option is enabled and USB debugging tool is enabled. This one. So actually we need only these two for now. So you can check this one, what has already been enabled, and compared it to yours. If everything is okay, then it means you are good to go. So with these settings, what I have to do is I'll come back to the project. Then here I'll find the name of my phone, which says Techno BE8. Then with this, I now have the opportunity to run without debug. Let me bring it on top and let's wait for the app to launch. Okay, so the app has successfully launched on a real device as well. Let's say running the app for the first time normally takes a little bit of time, but this is how to run Flutter app on a physical device. So let's see if everything is working. Yeah, everything is working as well. So thank you for watching. this video. I'll see you in the next one where we will build a nice recipe sharing app using Flutter. I hope to see you there. So don't forget to like this video and also subscribe for more content.